Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the UK League Championship. My name is Jake Matthews, and I'm here to guide you through all of the best plays here in the United Kingdom. But I'm not alone. Oh no, I'm joined by Stuart Sim McLeod. How are you doing?
You know, Jake,
sit up now.
I wanted to capture the artistic beauty that is you here, but I mean, this is the best I could get on a short time frame.
I mean, it's not terrible. It's pretty good. I like it.
I'm just gonna place this.
Just put it over there by the fireplace. You guys at home, right?
Directly in the fire. You're flaming me already.
There we go. I mean, speaking of flame, we had a good week. Well, a good week start to the week last week. This week, as we had Fnatic got taken out in the round of 8, Excel got taken out in the round of 8, and we are now sitting in a place where we've got a lot of teams who aren't the teams we expected competing to be at the top of the tower at week 4, as M&M are the team currently sitting there. Yeah,
and of course, Bulldog picking up the first win. A lot of exciting results from yesterday, but we've got some exciting matchups today as well. We can look at like the Dogs versus the Demons later on, Bulldog versus Diabolus. I'm excited for.
I mean, speaking of dogs, we actually did have a vote up on the Twitter for what the name of the dog is going to be. You know, UKLC dog, we couldn't stick with that. So
you guys literally inted. You
guys actually voted for Dog Champ to be the name of our pupper. I mean, we had Cookie, we had Noodle, we had Orcs Jr. You guys went for Dog Champ. I expected
Jr. sitting on the least amount of votes as well. It's gonna hurt.
No surprises there. No surprises
Sorry,
there.
Dan.
We did actually have another vote going on Twitter as well. I'd say maybe not quite as important as the name of the dog, but it was for our unsung hero coming out of yesterday's games, and that went over to Tolium. As I mean, you said before the show started that you thought Nolte was going to get it, and then you went back and looked at it, and you're like, actually, Tolium deserves this.
Yeah, Tolium definitely helped snowball, if you will, the game with that Nunu pick, and he has become the Nunu, the only person to have played it, and it's been all he's played thus far, and filling in the jungle, giving Bulldogs the first win as well. Definitely a big step up for him.
Definitely a big step up for him indeed, but if you do want to get in touch, vote for the MVP coming out today, your unsung hero, can head over to that Twitter. I'm getting my words muddled up.
Words
waddled up there. Over at LVP UK using that hashtag UKLC, and you can vote for your unsung hero coming out of today's games. But if you missed all of the chaos that happened yesterday, I mean, first of all, where were you? And you can also head over to our YouTube channel, LVP UK. We can catch up on all of the games you may have missed from yesterday's games. Is there any games that you would want to rewatch?
I mean, all of them. I love watching the UKLC yesterday. It's just, especially that Enclave Diabolus matchup, knowing that I predicted that coming out of it, and just staring down the Enclave guys who called me an idiot for it. Just said, no, I knew, but they were too busy celebrating their win.
Too busy celebrating their win. But we do have another person joining us with us. It's not going to be our big sexy Tibbers, but it is a big sexy bear either way. Orcs, over to you.
Oh, baby.
Hello. Now, I am here to break down the format for you guys. You've probably, most likely seen it before if you've been tuning in. If not, I'm here to give you a bit of a filler. It'll just be a sort of a light breakdown of what's going to happen. Obviously, yesterday, we had 4 games. We had the round of 8. If you didn't watch that, then, I mean, head over to our YouTube. You can see it there. And for anyone wondering, it's not a mistake. Fnatic Rising and XL both got knocked out. So it's a bit unlucky for them, but it made for some great League of Legends. We are through to the semi-final today. We had the bracket draw, which led to that. So Barrage against Enclave is our first match, and then we have Bulldogs against Diabolus. Winner of those 2 matches will go up together in the final. And then after that, we have the one challenger to go up against Tower Champion M&M. So going to be some spicy games, hopefully, once again. But no LEC sister teams involved today, so rest in peace, XL and Fnatic. And back over to you, Jake and Sin.
Rest in peace,
I mean,
indeed.
do not adjust your sets, guys. We do have no XL, no Fnatic, and we have Bulldog in this round of 4, so a little bit of a change up here.
But first of all, we've got Barrage taking on Enclave, and this is going to be a very exciting one here. As I feel like Enclave with this team that nobody really was playing too much respect to. You know, we said it at the beginning after their Tower Challenge versus Fnatic, where actually they looked pretty good, and then they had to play Enclave and XL, and then they looked pretty good there, but they lost both those games.
Yeah.
And then yesterday they came out, they went, right, we got Fnatic's number and we beat them, and they beat them cleanly.
I mean, it's the battle of the blue, but historically it's been Enclave has been the better of these 2 teams, but more recently Barrage has been stepping up, and Enclave, they took a step down, but they're still trying to keep up with that top of the table.
I mean, Barrage have made it through twice now, 2 weeks in a row. Last week we saw Artorias on the Riven as well, so they're showing that they've got a lot of things.
Yeah, Shoney's got the carry potential, yeah.
Exactly.
And this Conqueror meta now coming through definitely empowers him.
Definitely empowers him. But let's go over to Orcs, who's going to break down the rosters for our first game of the day.
You feeling all right there, mate?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, rosters. Yeah, Barrage is... sorry, you just caught me at a bad moment. Barrage are playing against Enclave. They have a roster, and I will break it down for you. There we go. There we go. Artorias in the top lane, Scudzy in the jungle, Cromel in the mid, Jackamaka AD carry, and Barty on a support. I mean, I personally gave a lot of criticisms towards the bot lane coming in just because I think their perceived strength was low, but they've really stepped up and shown that they aren't a weak link of their team. I think I still have some questions about Artorias, but overall the roster has been firing very well. So a good matchup for Enclave. Onto their roster, who haven't had any changes. We had a couple from Barrage. We have Governor in the top lane, Wisek in the jungle, Warzy in the mid lane, Kevo AD carry, and Raisin support, which I think some people were a bit mixed on their opinions of how strong this roster would be coming out, but they've definitely put on some solid performances, and I think this is going to be a very close matchup. Definitely going to keep my eyes on Wisek, who was really solid today. But yeah, so back over to you, Jake and Sin. And there's an Alistair for some reason. Why not?
Yeah, there's an Alistair. Now it's the UKLC logo.
Hey, it's indicative. Raisin's known for being an OTP Alistair. That's obviously the reason here.
But he's earned MVP for his Galio performance as well, and that's something we've seen a lot.
I mean, Galio, Alistair, they're basically the same thing now anyway. But one thing I actually wanted to talk about a lot here was the Enclave duo of jungle mid, Wisek and Barrage, these two Polish players that have come through, and I know that Wisek has a lot of pressure on him in terms of he has to dictate the entire early game. He's doing a lot of the shot calling, and he has to translate consistently for Barrage, so it's been really, that's the core of the team, and if that gets ahead, they start to snowball. But on the other side, the snowball potential of Jackamaka and Bartiano has been insane. You give them a slight lead, they take a mile, the Tristana jumping forward. Jackamaka, this guy has ballsy plays.
I mean, Jackamaka as a player is actually, we've really seen a lot of him really step up. Even in the games they've lost, he's looked good. He's looked pretty strong. He's been fed pretty much every game, but it's a matter of them translating that into the win, and that's what we need to see here coming from the Barrage team, because they've got a lot of individual good players. It's now putting it together, and they've made it through out of the round of 8 twice now. They want to make it into those finals to try and challenge M&M at the top of the tower, because while M&M have definitely been looking better and better each week, it's not Excel, it's not Fnatic. If anyone's going to try and get their hands on the top of the tower, like a team like Barrage, like a team like Bulldogs, this is the week to do it. There is no Fnatic, there is no Excel to challenge.
And I actually came into the week predicting that Fnatic would win, and then it would be Enclave taking down M&M. So I've got a lot of faith in them to come through. I definitely expect them to show up here today, but it's a case of can Barrage, who have had these explosive weeks, we talked about the Riven pick already, picks like that can carry them through, that just explode open this game and can snowball through those early phases, or is it just going to be Enclave stalling out like they did last game, utilizing that the Nico ADC, and slowing the game down? It's a nice adaptation to the meta. It's really just the way they've changed the meta. Going, you want to dive on top of me, you want to throw six different abilities directly at my face into melee range. Well, I just press R, I get a massive shield, you can't dive me anymore, and you get the free DPS time. I'm loving what the Nico provided. It was interesting. It was also kind of it was exciting because Orcs talked about it before the game started. Like, literally, as we're having our pre-show meeting, he was like, we're going to see Nico ADC. He was talking about it, and then you'd obviously been chatting to the Enclave team as well. You said they'd seen it as well, and they were like, yeah, this is something we want to try out. And tried it out to great success. And I mean, it was really confident of them to pull it out versus a team like Fnatic as well. What we heard from them was they hadn't actually played it in scrims, and they just went straight into playing it on stage because they had that confidence. They had that faith in Kevo, who's been playing it on solo queue, to just throw it directly into a game against Fnatic of all teams. So clearly a lot of strength in it. As we're just going to look at Prosfez Twitter behind us. We're just plugging here, just doing a bit of a plug. But we're into picks and bans. We've had Prosfez just sitting there in the dark, eating a tub of ice cream at home, watching this. No, he didn't want to play. He didn't want to fight versus Barrage. He made his bold prediction coming into today. But we've had the Kindred, we've had the Nico, and we've had the Lucian ban here so far from the side of Barrage. And that's going to be a Galio denying that from Bartiano. Okay, so a lot of strong bot laners denied already. Of course, the Kindred, though, strong for Wisek in the past. He had that amazing performance on it where he got MVP just a couple weeks ago, I believe. Not MVP, rather, but he got the Unsung Hero for that award. So trying to take away these strong dictating picks that have been allowing Enclave to snowball ahead. All right, well, that's going to be the Jax once again taken away. We did see Jax get pulled out yesterday.
not to the greatest success.
I mean, with Conqueror back, he's going to be back, but it's a case of in what capacity. We know it's a classic Kerberos pick. If he's going to bring that one up, or if he is going to refer back to playing things like the Yorick, which we just see banned away, which he played yesterday. But this is leaving top lane a lot more open, and this is what I'm worried is the noob trap right now, going for the Rek'Sai. It's very good in solo queue because of the uncoordinated play, but it's so easy with Rek'Sai being this champion that can be quite out of position quite often. She just burrows into the ground, bop her directly on the nose.
Yeah, well, it's going to be picked up. We'll have to see how it goes. We did see the Elise as well, one of those kind of solo queue junglers, but it's been caught out multiple times.
Exactly. It hasn't worked on a couple of occasions now. And once again, just going to plug Prosfair.
Just plugging away here, man.
I mean, this is like
let's plug some other Twitters.
This is like Orcs was last week, just constantly plugging his Twitter on the broadcast.
All right, well, Jarvan's going to get picked up. We've seen that being played so many times here in the UKC, and now they're looking for their next pick. What are they looking to put in the jungle? What are they looking to put in the AD carry? There's so many things open to them. And we'll see what they're going to lock in. So
the Jarvan's kind of replaced Urgot as the most blind pickable top laner up there with Sion. But it's a pick that is definitely a lot of strength behind it with the just the ability to be a tank, the ability to transition into being a carry if you do get a small lead. And Governor, we saw him go 4-0 on it in the past, but we need to see him transition those leads more consistently.
You can see Zoe's had a lot of popularity so far. It's only actually won one of its 5 games, but a 69% ban rate. This is a champion who people really don't want to see. And even in the losing games, the Zoe has always been a factor that the winning team has to be concerned around. So I understand why they're banning that away, well, why they picked that up and why it's been banned so much. But now we look towards Barrage, locking themselves in the Thresh as their bot lane support. What are they looking to pair that up with?
So I'm actually looking more at the Zoe here. It's a pick that really empowers Visek and Vajji to be this 2v2 monstrous duo of just setting up plays themselves. We talked a little bit about already the fact that Vajji doesn't really speak that much English, so he has to rely entirely on Visek to help set up those plays and help snowball the game through them. And if they're going to roam as a two-man unit, that's optimal for them because they have that innate communication. They don't need to worry about the rest of the map as much.
All right, well, the Jace was going to get locked in there for most likely a Taurus, but Camille can take it. As we can see, the Gragas get picked up for Visek, so that will go in the jungle, most likely, unless they want to run it as a support. It is still flexible, technically, as we're into ban phase 2 now. Enclave, they're going to take away probably some mid laners here, try and force Camille into an uncomfortable position.
Yeah, you can assume that this is going to be Artorias on the Jace, has been the more carry-oriented of him and Cromel. Cromel more known for playing those control mages that we've seen from him quite often, including yesterday when we did see him play I believe it was the Lissandra into ADM's LeBlanc. So he's still able to hold on in those sort of control mage matchups, and I think they're going to be happy shoving him back on that, trying to shut down the Zoe, and I think that's where the Lissandra can come up pretty happily again. Yeah,
well, they're going to ban away the LeBlanc, so don't want to go into that counter matchup, don't want to go into that uncomfortable matchup. The Braum gets taken away by Barrage. Maybe we see that Lissandra get removed here in the ban phase 2.
I think it is probably the most optimal ban here, just to make sure there is very little that's just so safe into the Zoe.
I'll have to see. 15 seconds left, and then curious to see what Barrage takes as their mid laner. Camille, I mean, is this control mage player, like you said. I mean, it's been a while, but the Ziggs is technically open to him, but that's going to be a Syndra ban, so most likely probably see Camille try and get his hands on something like the Lissandra.
Zoe has you can obviously go for the Lissandra, but if you're not really inclined to do that and play for that mid-jungle-centric 2v2, because we see both teams could buy heavily into that, he could still fall back to that Orianna that we saw him be an MVP on in the past. The issue with Zoe is she doesn't really have good wave control in the first few levels, so an Orianna can really heavily punish that. She has excellent wave control in the first few levels. Her auto attacks allow her to empower trades massively, so I think he could fall back to that, if not the Lissandra just buying in harder into Visek and Vajji trying to carry that 2v2 though.
And I feel like we'll see Jackamacca on a hyper carry as well, so depending on Camille's pick, it means he will either have a lot more kind of shouldered on to carry, but Tristana, like you said, is open. But see what Kevo wants to take here, if he wants to try and deny that from Jackamacca, or if they just look for a support and then try to counter-pick their AD.
It'll probably be Tristana and Kai'Sa as the two ADCs here, most likely. So this is probably going to be like a Morgana Kai'Sa bot lane. That does still focus very heavily onto magic damage.
I like that we got the new splash art from Morgana. That Morgana's not out yet.
Not here, but yeah, it's really nice looking splash art. I'm loving some of the skin updates that they've given her. They've actually given new particles to Exile Morgana, which was just a dead skin.
Yeah, I'm quite a big fan of the Black Thorn one. I never really liked that one in game. It looks good now.
I mean, the Sinful Succulent's got a massive upgrade in terms of splash art as well.
Right, well, it's actually going to be the Caitlyn here for Jack.
Okay, it's Sheriff of Piltover coming through. Going to be focusing on dominating bot lane early, getting control of that lane, denying Kevo and Raisins the ability to move around and set up plays. And if Jakamaka can snowball on this champion, we talked about he's one of the best players at snowballing an advantage. And with that massive range, isn't so likely to be punished. But there is the Ziggs that you mentioned.
It's been a while. Camille does feel very comfortable on that champion, and he locks it in. I could be a color caster, you see. Camille, last time I saw this, it was the Insomnia 62 finals, I believe, where Camille was playing on XL, and he beat out Diabolus in that game, and it really, one of those wins came massively off the back of Camille's Ziggs play. He's very good on this champion, he's very comfortable on this champion, it suits his wheelhouse. Now, how that pairs up versus the Zoe, I want to get your opinion on that.
So what the Ziggs wants to do is just stand at a large range as possible to be able to clear the wave, and again, wave control early. Ziggs has decent wave control early, he has decent range. He isn't pressured so hard by the Zoe, and when the Zoe gets all the points in the E to become the strong champion that she is, he can stand at a far enough range away that she doesn't really have kill pressure on him. So he's able to just free push the wave and roam off without him really being pressured. So I think it's definitely a safe pickup for him. Definitely fairly control mage centric, but he doesn't have that game impacting play of the the 4-man shockwave that we've seen in the past, or a really crucial Lissandra ultimate. Is instead very reliant on the rest of his team getting ahead, or just being a poke champ.
Yeah, they do have a lot of range poke as well. When you compare that with the Caitlyn and the Ziggs, Barrage can just play from a distance, and
this is a
Barrage
really
from
good
a distance
siege comp.
and just look to try and siege into Enclave. But if Enclave can get control of the game before that and deny them from ever getting into that siege position, I do start to worry.
I mean, the siege comp that's been drafted by Barrage here is actually pretty strong, but that was exactly what we saw Enclave going for. Enclave was setting up with the Zoe. They had the Jarvan to play side lane. They wanted to control the map and play a 4-1. And then you see Barrage just go, let's do exactly the same thing, except we've got a Jace and we've got better wave clear mid. Come at us.
I mean, actually, I forgot about the Jace. The poke and the siege they have is actually really dirty.
Yeah.
I'm going to be very excited to get into this game. Let's move on to our first game here at week 4, day 2. First semi-final to start up here. Enclave will be going up versus Barrage. Winner of this will go into the finals, which will be taking place after on our 3rd game of the day.
So we'll have to see who they'd be going up against later on in our matchup of Bulldogs versus Diabolus. But yeah, we can see the big stack early on. I like this.
Camille hasn't been spotted quite yet.
Oh.
They don't know he's there.
They've got the Morgana available if they catch him out here.
Oh
God, he has to flash.
He does have that cleanse. He actually just takes W and statue charges away.
Taking W at level 1 is a bit of punish. Doesn't really have the wave clear. But all the same, is going to be fairly safe. Doesn't have to blow his flash and doesn't have to worry about that early gank. The fact that he went for the cleanse as well is also indicative that he's fairly afraid of the potential of being 2v2'd, and that's generally been the focus of Enclave, going hard in on these 2v2s, setting up the Zoe and the Gragas to hard carry seems to be the aim here. So if they can get on top of Krumal, they can punish him early. Then Enclave, that's the win condition.
All right, well, it's pretty normal start here, apart from Kevo. Well, sorry, Camille getting caught out early in the bush, but did have to take that satchel charge at level 1, which does actually affect his early shove, especially into a champion like Zoe, like you said. Hasn't got the best wave control early. Not being able to have Q early and being able to really hard shove into her.
Oh, jeez. Artorias already punishing Governor. Really nice trade there. We see what happens nowadays is people go for the airy Jarvan, try and hold up in trades, try and at least keep up. In terms of their ability to just CS from ranges, he's taken use of that W early. He's not really letting that punish him at all.
Yeah, you know what, he's just proving me wrong. But doesn't mean he doesn't have quite as much shove, but he's able to trade with it effectively here versus Warzy.
I mean, let's go for, we're on 9.4, so let's go on Conqueror watch. And the only person with this Conqueror is the Rek'Sai.
We actually didn't see too much Conqueror yesterday either. Yeah. This is obviously the
It was actually really funny, the Conqueror matchups. Yeah, the Conqueror matchups yesterday were very much like, yeah, we've got the people who would, nice steal there from Bisec, but the Conqueror matchups that were generally the case, it was like, yeah, they've both gone champions that would go Conqueror, so let's just go Grasp of the Undying and then just trade an even melee matchup instead.
Isaac is just denying Scudzy as much as possible, and because Camille didn't have that level 1 point in his... Oh, he takes that away in his Q.
Oh, God, he's chunked. So
Isaac might just get the kill here. The red buff is on, and Isaac flashes in, takes a tower shot.
Camille can't even help him, he's so low.
Camille's been poked out too low, hasn't got control of his wave, and now Warzy quite comfortable in this lane here.
This is actually really big for Scudzy, because the fact that he's lost that flash against Visek means that he's really unlikely to be able to set up a play in the first few levels. That flash knockup, generally the way that Rek'Sai gets her way in, all the same, Visek's just going to have the Predator to be able to make those same plays.
Artorias is making his way in. Warzy also here. But it looks like they're just going to step away. Governor going to close in on Artorias. There's a bubble available. Going to be dodged out. And good dodge. Good dodge.
So we mentioned already, I was having to talk to Mans the other day. They were saying initially when they were starting scrims for the first time with this roster, that they called Vaji Warzy at the start. Like, that's just natural to read it as Warzy. And he didn't respond to any of the calls. He didn't respond to anything because he just didn't know people were referring to him. He's so used to just being Vaji and everybody getting that instantly. So they were saying, right,
I can understand why.
Yeah, jungle coming mid, and he just like didn't understand a word of it.
Well, bot lane, probably going to be quite a quiet bot lane. They've got two very farm-orientated scaling ADs. I think it's going to be very much around this jungle and this mid lane pressure that they can put down. I'm pretty curious to see how the state of top lane will go, as Scudzy having a little bit of a look around, seeing if he can find something onto Governor, maybe burn a flash. Does have that burrow. That's going to be the knock-up. He's already used it. Governor's forced to flash away. Actually misses out on that knock-up, and Governor will be able to walk out.
Okay, so the mistake of Governor there was throwing the E down on the wave after Artorias had pushed up so aggressively. It was clear that he was pushing past the wave to push you off of it. And at that point, you got to think when you're on that low HP, is Scudzy just around the corner, forces him to blow the flash instead of just being able to EQ away, and makes up for the fact that Artorias had to roam down earlier, which cost him the CS lead. And now Governor's had a bit of a chance to recover, but that flash being down is going to hurt him.
Well, Scudzy actually getting caught out here. That's going to be the ignite down.
Oh
Q
God,
goes
he's dead.
in, and Warzy with first blood.
And he's just going to pick up that smite and walk away. Yeah, you know. Just get out of my jungle, and now gives Visek the opportunity to go into his, hits him with the dab.
That's a 4 out of 5 dab. I don't think his second hand even made it past the top of his head.
4 out of 5 for not even making it past his... Come on, 3 out of 5 at best.
Okay, I thought you were going to say I wasn't being generous enough. But
no, that's 3 out of 5 at best. He's hitting them with the weak dabs. We can show you on broadcast later what a proper dab looks like.
I'd rather we didn't.
Oh, trust me, we will.
Now, Scudzy will see Visek here. With that Tremor Sense. Smite is available to Visek, but not to Scudzy.
Still only level 3, he's being bodied.
Warzy has so much control, even gets the Sleepy Bubble off. Camille can't actually respond to any of these rotations by Warzy.
This is insane. I'm loving, because generally what you do on Cromel, we have to say that he did have to start the W, which it was fine at level 1, but at level 2 you normally have Q plus E. Level 3, then you got that thing. So at level 2, he was pushed off of the wave. Level 2, he was pushed hard under tower, because he didn't have the normal wave clear that a Ziggs does. So it means that Vaji had control, was able to start roaming off, and then use that control to get his jungle snowballing ahead. So Governor's going in.
Governor's looking to pin him in the place of the Cataclysm. Artorias flashes away to safety, and the redemption might just be enough, but nope. We have to dodge out. But guys, if you head over to the Twitch chat, you can let us know who is going to win. Is it going to be Barrage or is it going to be Enclave? We'll reveal that in a short amount of time. Yesterday, you got 1 out of 5 games, so see if you guys can do a little bit better today.
I'm happy I got 4 out of 5, but all the same. Somebody who's not getting any of their camps and not getting anything right thus far has been Scudzy. Still 2 levels down, has no pressure, has made no plays, and 30 CS now. This is insane.
Bartiano dodges away from the Q, throws out the flay, gets put to sleep with the bubble. That's going to be a heal onto Jackamaka. The cask gets flashed away, and Scudzy does make his way in time. Enclave attempts the dive, but good disengage, good safety play there by Barrage.
I mean, we know that Visek has been one of the best early game junglers we have in the UKLC. But I gotta say, I was not expecting this level of sheer dominance. He is just walking into the jungle and T-posing directly on top of Scudzy.
I mean, Scudzy has just nothing he can do. He's 2 levels behind him. He's got 20 CS at the moment.
Yeah, he's only got a little bit more than the Thresh, put it that way. That's pretty damn painful. And he's actually a lower level than the support as well. This is tragic.
This is actually really tragic. All right, well, Jakamaka going to try and catch this wave underneath his turret. He is equal, at least with his lane. Yeah. Do look towards top lane, also equal. Mid lane, there's a kill separating Vorzi and Kramil.
So it means there's about a 600 gold lead in jungle because all the first blood gold went to Barrage, and the CS is about even throughout. And that is coming to fruition in 2 long swords versus an almost completed Runic Echoes.
Yeah.
This is inherently brutal, and he's not leaving him alone. This man has a family, Vajik, please.
Kramil is just farming mid lanes away, can't even contest it. That's going to be the smite, takes the camp away. Scudzy is getting bodied here.
Oh,
by Isaac.
He's hungry.
He's in the bush. Kramil does need to be a little bit careful. That Predator not available yet.
You don't even want to pop a Predator on that. You know that Kramil is standing there, fully aware that you were just on top of his Raptors. You can't go for that. You can't try and push the wave up any further. You have to just back off straight away.
Well, Kramil does base, get himself the Lost Chapter. Scudzy actually did spot out Isaac with that Tremor Sense, and that's going to be the sweeper to spot him out. Isaac does
He's
have
already dead.
He's just going to walk away. I mean,
this is bullying.
This is just actually really hard to watch.
We can't endorse bullying here on the UKLC, but it's working for Enclave.
Well, looking to try and turn this around. That's going to be a binding onto Vorzi, and he will be the first to go down. Mega Inferno Bomb does put a bit of damage out. Scudzy's able to make his way out, and now Kramil has a flash in his pocket. Can use it. The binding goes wide, and they just got themselves one onto Vajik. The dunk onto Artorias comes through, and Bationo does get himself the hook, but has no one to follow up.
But it is a 1-for-1. And they take down Vajik. It means that Scudzy has the opportunity to at least take a couple camps while he's dead.
There's no camps up.
Oh god, but you see straight away, he jumps in, instantly binded, instantly ignited, and he has to just run for the hills on the other side. It is a really nice collapse from bot and Artorias that allows them to stay alive. And Kramil arrives from the mid lane. A little bit too late. His Governor just flash EQ ult, gonna get him in. As I believe he actually missed the EQ and then just ulted out of shame.
You know.
That's pretty painful when you flash EQ and then the Q misses the E.
Now, I actually do want to talk a little bit about why Isaac's build, because we've actually seen him multiple times now build the full AP Gragas, being very proactive early, do a lot of work, and then
standard.
Get just caught out a lot because he's very squishy with this particular Gragas build, and that has actually cost Enclave a few of their games in the past. And I think if Barrage do get their time and Jakamaka becomes unlocked, Isaac might not be able to get his damage off in time.
And this comes from the fact that he is the lead shot caller. He's been the guy driving the plays for the team. That's why they've been so dominant in the early game. But come the mid game, they need to start handing off that shot calling to somebody else in the team who can be more reserved, challenge him more often on his calls. And that's going to give them the opportunity to start getting caught out less and less in the mid game, start making more tempered plays and allow them to push their advantage without being caught out for it.
Oh, a lot of damage gets thrown onto Vajik.
That's awful.
Scudzy does actually have that ultimate available, but Governor now flanking them out. It's a 3 versus 3, and Vajik's trying to run his way in. Big cast comes down. Kramil does have that bomb available. Scudzy able to pick up the Rift Herald, and Barrage just get the objective.
They can't really contest it yet. Unfortunately, what happened is Vajik went to hit the wards and then got chunked out while he was trying to attack the wards and didn't really respect the poke that was there from the side of Barrage.
Can see, though, in the bot lane, it's been going a little bit less favorable for Barrage. They've been able to keep equal in CS, but these plates are falling down one after the other, and Kevo has been able to take a little bit extra gold here in this lane.
I mean, Kevo just being able to control the lane, generally what you want to be doing on the Sivir pick, because the Caitlyn pick has... Oh, no! He's forced to smite it. Okay, he smote it, seeing that the Zigzult was coming, and Kramil... He gets the reward for it, but the sad little moment there as he's...
It was close.
His glasses. Yeah, it was close, but unfortunately Vajik sees the ultimate coming and instantly smites it to make sure. Not only does he not go low from the play, he also secures the blue buff.
Oh, Artorias just goes into Governor. So much damage put onto him there. Do need to keep in mind that these plates won't really do too much when you're looking at a Ziggs and a Rek'Sai who has that Rift Herald. Like, if they get a good charge off and they get some damage onto that, the satchel will be enough for Kramil to execute the turret, and that's a lot of gold and potentially first turret blood over to Barrage. So that could pull back this gold lead.
Yeah, of course. Only 1k difference, as you're alluding to. Yeah, just the the Ziggs W plus a Rift Herald enough to snowball them back into the game. And in fact, the amount of speed that you get, the amount of tempo advantage you get off of Ziggs just popping a tower like that, likely means you get 2 tower charges off the back of it, and you can leverage that tempo even further.
Yeah, do you see?
Oh, don't you love rubber banding catch-up experience? Scudzy getting level 8, catching up with Vishik.
It was he lost lane tactically to bait Wyzek into that blue buff fight where he died. That was what
I gotta say, like, I can't complain too much about the balance because, I mean, Vishik at least didn't get a massive bounty for out-farming the hell out of Scudzy.
Yeah. All right, well, do actually have a look at Camille's build. He's got himself the Ether-Wisp as well. As Wyzek gonna get knocked up. That's gonna be the bubble thrown onto one. The cleanse is available.
Oh!
Camille just gets one shot.
He cleanses the ignite.
Does get it out. Cask not gonna find its marker. Notorious just launches in. In comes Scudzy. Ultimate gets stopped out by the stopwatch, and the bubble does connect onto Scudzy. Vorzy can go over that wall with the paddle star. The auto attack not enough to get him, and Scudzy gets away.
So close twice from Barrage. That is heartbreaking for him. And it brings Barrage directly back into the game. 2 quick plays in a row. Suddenly they have control of mid lane.
Bartiano hanging over that wall with a hook available, but not gonna throw it out. You're seeing a lot of damage getting put down as Kevo has that Essence Reaver finished. It's just the pickaxe and the BF sword for Jakamaka. I mean, there's a lot of bonus damage here for Enclave's bot lane, but once that Infinity Edge comes up onto Jakamaka, the fights can get a little bit dicey.
But still a long way off really Caitlyn's pure itemization. She needs that. She needs the double energizer to come online. She has the early game, the lane pressure, but if she can't utilize that to snowball it into a first tower, she really loses a lot of what makes her Caitlyn until that 3-4 item point. As Vargi again,
Scudzy.
Now it's his turn to bully out the jungler.
He's forced to flash away. That might just be enough. The auto attack not going to come through. Scudzy does get away.
And it's only going to get worse from there, guys. Zoe's going to be one-shotting people. Just give it 1 item's time. That's looking pretty juicy as the Governor going into the top side flashes and traps him in the pit.
Flashes away from his own one as Artorias looks to turn it. Just takes to the skies. The minion damage is there. The flag, the drag, the slow, and Governor gets the solo kill in the top lane.
As the man Governor comes in. And this is a man who's really not had much confidence, you got to say, over the last split. Like last season, people were saying he was one of the weaker top laners. This time around, he's looked a lot stronger. He's been able to get some solo kills. He's been able to get some pressure on his own. And I'm loving what he's showing. It's a different side to him, where he can play more carry-oriented and still put up decent numbers. But in the top side here, the Rift Herald being forced to use last second as it was about to run out means that they are going to trade towers across the map. But it's can they get that second charge to try and get some value back on this loss of tempo?
We see Camille is desperately trying to roam as well. So he can make his way up. Jakamaka's gone top lane to join Scudzy for the siege with the Rift Herald.
The Jace isn't doing it for you. Give the gold to the Caitlyn. That's the way it looks. Nice and early lane swap as well for them, because they saw the top bot lane tower going down. They can get up here quickly.
Yeah, they might actually be able to get some serious damage onto this turret as Camille, once again, looking to roam, but not actually going to commit quite fully to it, as Notorious might be caught out. That's the Predator, knocks him away, flashes out as well. The belly bot, the flag, the drag.
Look at how long he held the body slam there. Just slowed that down for as long as possible. Artorias knocked him away. He still had the body slam. Flashes, he still has the body slam right at the end. At the last possible moment he needed to. Uses it. Very similarly to how you see Elise use.
Kevo taking a lot of damage. Ace in the hole is going to come in. The flash forward for Raisins. Throws down the soul shackles. Not going to connect, but Warzy enters in. And he's going to get himself a kill. Wyzek with the cast onto Scudzy. Lantern will save him for the moment. The double flash! Oh, Warzy! Double kill on Zoe. What a play!
Dab it on the haters again, and this is probably the last time we're going to see his Zoe for a while.
Bartiano gonna force to use the flay. The ignite is down, and Vorzy very looking for the kill. Scudzy will fall down. Vorzy gets himself an unofficial triple kill, and 4 members of Barrage go down.
And the unofficial ace is Enclave. They snowball the game wide open. But what I'm looking at after that play there is the Zoe landing hit marker after hit marker. That's let's see this one here as she flashes to get in range right at the end.
Oh, some guys having a lot of fun back there.
Yeah. But the heartbreaking bit was here. Bot's like, maybe I can get out. I just have to hook one of these minions. One shots the minion because Scudzy queued it first.
Oh, you aren't getting away from that.
Yeah, it's just like, he was hoping he could hook himself away, and then Scudzy queues it right in front of his face just to make sure he can't get it. That's painful.
All right, well, 17 minutes in, we got a 4K gold lead over to Enclave as Barrage now looking a little bit desperate to try and get themselves back in as this game might just move away further and further. Torres gets put to sleep. The Ignite is available. Vorzi's putting the damage in.
So close.
Gonna
get
it.
Oh, there it is. Another pop there from Barrage.
I don't know if that was a notorious fail or if that was just Vorzi just getting very fed on Zoe now.
He's getting really fed. He's so far ahead that he will be consistently one-shotting people, getting very close to the point where he's just going to build a straight-up death cap. And we'll be popping skulls left and right. But the thing that's different here now for Enclave, we saw a couple weeks ago, they had a comp similar to this. It was against M&M, where the lead all went onto Governor in the top side, and they struggled to snowball the game from there. Because Governor was meant to win the side lane. They didn't know what to do afterwards.
Oh, that's so unfair.
Yeah.
Watch this, watch this, watch this! Dodges out, but he still almost dies. He's forced to flash away. What?
So close to being able to kill him, even without the Q landing.
He missed the Q.
That's brutal.
And he still almost got one shot.
This is the sieging comp we talked about, though. We said that Barrage and Enclave have both drafted sieging compositions. Well, the team that gets a slight lead and gets towards the point where they can take Baron first, insta wins with this comp because you get so many towers off the back of it because that's what your team is built around. But going back to what we were saying before, it's Governor had a massive lead before when they played against M&M, similar matchup, similar game, and he wasn't really able to do much with it in the side lane. This time, the difference is the strength is also in the 4-man unit. So you can play a 4-1, have Governor win out the side lane, and have the pressure on Artorias, whilst the 4-man unit has this Zoe nearly one-shotting people, and they could just, to the point where they could just group up as 5, brute force, and no one can stop them because their gold lead is just too big.
This is looking very rough for Barrage. Vorzi is just showing up on this Zoe, and I think you were right in saying this will probably be the last time we see this champ for a while for him.
Yeah, we're not going to see his Zoe again for a long time. He's showing a level of mastery on this pick that we just don't see that often in the UKLC.
Baron takes to the Rift. 20 minutes on the clock.
The one Q I've seen him actually miss, he ended up nearly one-shotting him anyway. It's absolutely brutal from Barrage.
Imagine if that hit.
Imagine if that hit and he just one-shots Jakamaka immediately, yeah. And it was just after the poke was coming through from the Raisins and Kevo as well to be pressuring Bartiano out.
Notorious is trying to push away in this spot lane. They've been able to at least pick one turret up here for Barrage, and that mid lane turret very low, so if Enclave can find an opportunity, they will be able to take it down. As Isaac just going to steal away more of Scudsy's camps.
You know, that's been the growing trend for this game, and, but the issues that you talked about before for Visek was still there. He was still getting caught out in the mid game, making a couple mistakes in a row where he was over-aggressing, and that's going to be the point that other teams are looking at. There's a couple games that we've seen from him in the past, the similar thing has happened this time around. It slowed down the tempo a lot. They were really snowballing ahead. They'd almost shut Scudsy out completely, and then he died a couple of times and slowed it down to the point where they waited till Warji was really coming online to make things happen again. And I'm going to say, when he did come online, the game's opened wide up.
All right, well, Jakamaka now looking to base off, probably building towards his rapid fire cannon ASAP. He's got that Zeal in his pocket. Actually, doesn't quite have the gold for it yet, so he's going to stay on the map for the moment. I feel so sorry for Scudsy. He had such a rough shot start.
He still managed to get back into it fairly decently. The fact that he's still only about 25 CS down. We've seen games like this in the past. I remember a famous game for Longzhu when Crash was playing where he flame horizoned his opponent in the jungle. As Nidalee, his opponent didn't get a buff the entire game. It's not quite one of those games, but still pretty yikes. And you've got to think catch-up experience is a blessing. It's the ability to fall that far behind in the jungle, the hardest place to be able to get experience from behind. Having those rubber banded camps is necessary to make sure that you aren't just locked out of the game entirely, but still, he's gotten to the point where all of the disadvantages he had earlier have pretty much just disappeared. And the fact that he lost early doesn't matter so much anymore.
22 minutes on the clock. You can say, at least for Barrage, if you want to look at positives, it's only Cloud Drakes that are spawned, which does mean obviously Enclave can move around the map a little bit quicker.
If that's the only positive you've got, you're in a pretty bad situation.
That is the only positive you've got, as Notorious is just getting ripped through. The Cataclysm comes down and Notorious forced to flash.
I'm loving this side of Governor. I know I know he's put in a lot of work, and you've seen his streams where he's been doing games and being VOD reviewed with his coach, and he's been working so hard to become one of these better top laners, and seeing him dunk on Artorias without like this, without there being that much pressure topside, in fact, more pressure from Scudzy topside than there's really been Vishik. So I'm really happy to see him perform to the level that he wants to, because we want to see these UK top laners. We want to see these young, upcoming talents come through, rise up the ranks, and reach that top tier of the table. And Artorias, who just a couple weeks ago we were saying maybe is up there in terms of the likes of Aragon, Kerberos, is now just being styled on.
Yeah. Hardcore as well. As gold lead still sits at 6k here for the side of Enclave. And you got to think they want to get this Baron now, but how quick is their Baronson? Can they? I mean, they've got the Sivir, so obviously they don't have quite a lot of consistent damage.
The main damage source is Zoe, so you don't really have that much Baron damage. It's more like you just got to wait until Sivir gets another item, throw down the E from Jarvan, and then rely on the Sivir to be able to DPS that down very quickly. Don't really have a Mountain Dragon. That would be a blessing for them, but for now, they really want to be focusing on making Baron completely blind and setting up picks, because that's what their composition does really well. Raisins on the Morgana, the Zoe. This is, and of course the Sivir to close the gap as well.
The flash, Raisin goes in,
Raisins.
The Salt Shackles will connect, and Jakamaka gonna get caught out. Artorias gets wounded! And now Kevo's looking to take him down. Boomerang Blade's gonna go wide, and Artorias gets dragged in, and a double kill for Kevo.
You know, everybody else is making the highlight plays. Raisin says, I want 1-2. Flash ults in, lands a really nice binding on the end of it as well. Get Kevo off screen.
That was such a good binding.
It's insane. Over the wall, completely like blind. I think he just popped the blast.
He just kind of like brushed the shoulder and threw the binding out.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're looking to try and get their hands on this Baron here.
This is exactly what we're saying. You get the picks, you can go to Baron because there's no ability to contest. Scudzy has to find a way in where he Qs and ults, and then you can just wait for him.
Bartiono throws the Ignite down onto Raisins. Half health him for the moment.
Bargy
Baron's still at half HP. This is, like we said, quite a slow one, but if Warzy can find himself a good paddle start, two-man Cataclysm by Governor, and Kevo gets himself yet another kill. Now Scudzy has to find some kind of a miracle, but Governor looks to flag, drag, and chase him in. The paddle star is enough. An explosive cast takes him down. Camille does have that Mega Inferno bomb available, and he can throw it into the pit. Artorias looking to poke away. In comes the bomb. Not going to be enough to get the steal, though. They take down yet another member, and Barrage are left with 2 to defend.
They've got such a comp for sitting up on Baron like that. The poke from the Zoe, the bindings from Morgana, Sivir for turning, and then the Gragas and the Jarvan for keeping people out of the pit. They do it perfectly. And you know, I may sound like a bit of a biased caster, but when I see my boy Raisins popping off like this, I get happy.
Gone full James Bond with that 007 scoreline.
He's looking like the secret agent. You know, he's from Scotland as well. It works.
Oh, cool. It actually does. I went very high there for some reason. I don't know why. Just getting very high. And, ooh. Bless
now it's Bartiono brushing it off over his shoulder that time, yeah. Is that more the one where it like cuts through your hair? Yeah. You're left with like singed all down the side of one.
This is actually a really good Drake for Enclave to get. They've now got triple Cloud. That's the one I want, and they're able to move around the map very quickly. Pop that with On the Hunt. They can chase people down like
and they can make picks. Yeah, they can make picks consistently with the Zoe landing these bubbles, the Morgana landing these bindings. The collapse we got, we talked about. Picks are so easy, and you can see it in Artorias' scoreline. 1-6 right now. This man, whenever he tries to step up to be this melee threat, or even just a short-range threat, he is getting one-shot. Governor has to get out.
Flags drags away. That's going to be the ultimate thrown out. They're looking for the solo kill, but it looks like meanwhile,
here comes Zoe to try and turn it.
Trying to siege away. Zoe's coming in. Let's have a little look at that. Players able to find themselves one already, but the fight is still going on.
Zoe's just chasing them down, but that means they've got this 3v3 on the bot side, and they can't actually join into this, so they get the inhibitor and trade for the life of Governor.
Meanwhile, siege continues. Visor goes in with a belly slam, throws out the cast. Bartiono trying
Kevo
to play away, trying to buy time. Boomerang Blade's doing a lot of damage, and so are those Baron-empowered minions. Inhibitor will fall here.
And that inhibitor being down, the Baron buff not utilized that effectively because Governor went down on one side. The 4-1 not quite working out. I would have liked to have seen the Zoe just back off very quickly back towards the bot side and utilize that 4v3 to take the inhibitor and see if they can get a pick off the back of it. But we saw Vishik going for the plays. Imagine if the Zoe was there to capitalize on that.
Well, it's just trying to stem that bleeding here for Barrage as Enclave now 10k ahead of them. Zoe has that death cap, has the Fiendish Codex.
I know you're a huge fan of Zoe. Tell me about what it must be like to be hit by a 503 Zoe with death cap completed.
When you play that Zoe, it feels real good. Like, when you don't even need to land the bubble and you just kill someone with a paddle star straight out and you're like, oh. This is one of those moments where if you take like Dark Harvest as well and you don't quite kill them,
I bet he wishes he did now,
man.
yeah.
Dark Harvest Zoe, when you get this fed, it's a lot more risky and a lot less consistent for the electrocute.
It was even better.
It feels so good.
It was even better when Scorch proc Dark Harvest, so you get the Scorch taking them down into Dark Harvest range.
It's like you can just proc it on the auto attack. If the Q's not like enough, you just whoop, auto in. Empowered auto, it's so dirty for executing on her.
Yeah, speaking of empowered autos, I know we're pretty much writing off Barrage at this point, but if they can slow the game down, if they win a fight, we know how quick Ziggs can destroy towers.
I mean, I don't know.
Hey, I'm trying to have some kind of optimism. Give me a break.
I don't know if they're looking like a battleship or the Titanic right now. This is rough here for Barrage.
Vargy's been poking holes in the hull of that ship the entire game. So.
Yeah, and he's looking
and there he goes!
What? Oh,
the hull is breached. The hull is breached. The ship is sinking, guys. We're going down.
We're going down, lads, indeed. And no Mega Inferno bomb is going to stop this siege. Enclave, they're going to take their second inhibitor here. Artorias just tickles Governor with that empowered Q. And now the rest of the team looking to try and siege jump to the third inhibitor here.
There's nothing they can do. The Zoe's just too much. Oh, there's the bubble. No.
I got the Sterix on the hunt's being used, and the cleanse is out. Wiser now throws out the cast. The hook might just be enough, but it's satchel charges to safety. Artorias trying to clear out the minions for the moment. Tower half HP, and it looks like Enclave just going to step away.
But we saw once again the Vishik stepping up a little bit too far, pushing too aggressively, gets caught by the hook, and they have to burn so many cooldowns just to get him out alive that it's wasted once again. They have to slow the game down. But the 3 inhibitors being down, it's just one push away from the end of the game. They could maybe look to get any Nexus Tower damage, but they can't push their advantages too far. This is an 11k advantage, but you see the Caitlyn close to hitting a second item. You see the Ziggs close to 3 items now. If you give them too much disrespect, maybe they can find a couple picks in a row and just slow you down, stall you out until those inhibitors respawn. It's a long way out, but there are ways in which they could at least slow you down to 40 minutes.
I don't think you've got 40 minutes left.
I don't either. I'm trying to be optimistic, Jake. Why are you doing this?
If we do look at Enclave,
I meant to be impartial, Jake.
I'm gonna make a statement about Enclave now. They had a very convincing win versus Fnatic yesterday.
Yeah.
They had some very convincing games versus Fnatic and XL in the past of the competition.
Yeah.
And now a very clean game here
very
versus
clean,
Barrage. And if they close this out without making too many more hiccups, they've only lost 3 kills and 1 turret. That's a pretty good run here for Enclave.
Honestly,
they might be making a statement to be one of the top teams here in the UK.
They're suddenly making this a real statement for themselves, and after, as you said, taking down Fnatic yesterday and looking just that small step away from a top-tier team so far in the tournament, they're really making that gap shorter and shorter between them and that #1 spot. So I want to see them continue developing. They seem to be just ever so close to taking down teams consistently like this, but these mistakes that we've talked about a little bit already, the Vishik stepping up too far, we talked about Governor being a little bit inconsistent. These are the things they need to shore up if they want to become the #1 team. But this doesn't even matter.
Artorias can't even defend versus the minions while they're taking Baron.
But those issues don't even matter so much as that Ziggs ult was really close, actually. But those issues don't really matter so much when you've got Vargy stepping up higher than he's ever stepped before on this Zoe. 6-0-3, and it's hard to look at anybody else. The game hasn't even ended yet, and I'm going to be talking about MVP here. This is Vargy has looked so good all game on the Zoe, and I can't say it's been anybody else for me.
Well, supers are going to start to work away on that inhibitor. Vorzi stepping up as well. Hook going to go wide, and Enclave looking to take their 4th inhibitor of the game total. And they might just look to try and take the Nexus here. They've got the supers in the base.
They're just being bled out here.
The Baron buff to boot. Bartiono misses the hook, but does land that flay. And now Enclave looking to close this out. That's going to be a Cataclysm and a quick kill here for the side of Enclave. A double kill picked up onto Vorzi. Not going to go for more as the Nexus falls down, and Enclave gets himself the first win of the day.
And you know, when you bleed someone out so much, they pretty much just pass out, and that's seems to be what happened there at the end for Barrage. Is
oh, okay.
They just lost too much blood. There was very little they could do, and being zoned off of objectives consistently by the Zoe and the Morgana just cost them so much. And when we talk about Siege Comp versus Siege Comp, that's what happens. The team that gets the first Baron just wins the game automatically. It's very difficult to play against. They tried to make these picks, but it didn't quite work.
Now, I do believe I just heard that Vorzi is going to be our MVP coming out of that game, and I mean, I didn't even need to be told that. I knew he was going to get MVP. He had a fantastic game on the Zoe. Looks so good. 8-0-3. I want to see the damage more than I want to see the KDA. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, it's those damage shots are probably pretty interesting right now. He was just one.
They're probably just a bunch of small bars and then one really big bar.
Is it Find the Forgiven game?
Yeah, it's just one of those ones. Fantastic shot in there by Enclave, and now they are through into the finals, which is nice for them because this is the closest they've actually got to the top of the tower since week 1 when they sat at the top of the tower.
They've been saying for weeks that they are the #2 team, and now that Fnatic and Excel are gone, what's stopping them from being #1?
Definitely making a statement here, but they do have to win versus either Diabolus or Bulldogs, which is our second game of the day. We're going to cut to a quick break, and when we're back, we'll be back with that game, so see you in a second.